Nerdrotic.com.
I hate bringing you bad news in the middle of the night, but here we are. Before we get started, though, Hollywood, my friends, does not deserve the benefit of the doubt. James Gunn doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt, and most certainly Warner Brothers doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt, because I believe, once again, they've gotten off on the wrong foot with DC, because Henry Cavill is out as Superman. Henry Cavill on not returning as Superman. This news isn't the easiest. The actor reacted to James Gunn's plan to write a film focusing on the DC superheroes' younger years. Now, James Gunn has already denied on Twitter this is going to be an origin story. Good. He's also denied that it's going to be incorporated with the Batman. Also good. I still believe this will probably end up being something closer to the Superman than a Superman movie we all wanted, with an established hero and established rogues gallery of villains. Instead, we're going to get Superboy, some wafy 120-pound actor, because masculinity is bad in Hollywood. Henry Cavill is addressing Warner Brothers' decision to move forward with a Superman film that will star a different actor in the title role. And good luck to whoever replaces Henry Cavill, because you'll constantly be compared to him, and this better be the best Superman movie ever made, because without it, you don't have a DCU. Cavill, who appeared as Superman in a cameo for this fall's Black Adam after not having played the hero since 2017's Justice League, weighed in following DC Studios co-chairs and co-CEOs James Gunn and Peter Safran, informing him of the change in direction for the character. Cavill explained that his post from earlier in this year declaring that he would return as Superman was made prior to Warner Brothers hiring Gunn and Safran. And let's just go to Henry Cavill's pretty sad post here. I feel bad for the guy. I just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman after being told by the studio to announce my return back in October. That is fucked up. Prior to their hire, their news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. I wish him the best of luck too. Will superhero movies still be a thing in 10 years? Will there be a DCU without a good Superman movie? No, there won't. For those of you who have been by my side through the years, we can mourn for a bit, but then we must remember Superman is still around. Everything he stands for still exists, and the examples he sets for us are still here. My turn to wear the cape has passed, but what Superman stands for never will. It's been a fun ride with you all. Onwards and upwards. All class from Henry Cavill and absolutely zero from Warner Brothers. This is the absolute worst way to deal with it. And maybe you just needed to rip the Band-Aid off. I understand that, James Gunn, but what Henry Cavill gave you was something you don't have: goodwill. You might have goodwill from some as a director, but those are Marvel fans. We're talking about DC fans, and not sure if James Gunn is a good fit for traditional heroes. I liked what he did with The Suicide Squad. I liked what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy. But could James Gunn direct something traditional even with Marvel, like Captain America? I don't think so, because he's a quirky trauma guy, and he's worked well with the quirky Marvel characters and DC characters. The Suicide Squad, as much as I liked it, didn't do very well, partially because it went on HBO Max, but I don't think it would have done well anyway. And we still have some DC movies to get through that are going to flop now because they just don't matter. They're going to be one-offs. They might as well just put them on HBO Max or whatever the hell you're going to call it now. And I have been a fan of Zaslav's acts, but I would remind everyone that CNN is still running. DC Comics is still running. And those are two of the most woke and broke organizations out there. To be fair, James Gunn inherited a mess, and I think he just made it a bit worse. I understand completely rebooting, but that's not what you're doing. What are you going to do with Peacemaker? How is that going to fit into the greater DCU? How is the Batman going to exist outside of it with another Batman? Will that create confusion? Will that create competition? How will that move forward? I wish you all the luck in the world. And hey, I hope it turns out great. The problem is this is all happening probably 10 years too late, and you have a 10-year plan. And as I stated on Twitter tonight, I would worry far less about a 10-year plan and far more about a good Superman movie, an inspirational, traditionally heroic Superman movie, something we haven't gotten, quite frankly, since Richard Donner 44 years ago. And it's something you can't even emulate. This is something Warner Brothers has said they would have a problem with. And this is something Hollywood has had a problem with because they have no idea what traditional heroism is anymore. I agree with Henry. The ideal of Superman is still around, but again, I don't think Hollywood is capable of making it. Cavill's post came just as Gunn tweeted that he will be writing a new Superman film set to focus on the seminal DC superhero's younger years. Great. Cavill could be in the mix to play a different DC character down the road. That is just some Hollywood gobbledygook bullshit to make everybody happy. That's never going to happen. Peter and I have a DC slate ready to go, which we couldn't be more over the moon about. We'll be able to share some exciting information about our first projects at the beginning of the year, Gunn wrote. The filmmaker added that he and Safran had a great meeting with Henry and were big fans, and we talked about a number of exciting possibilities to work together in the future just to placate him. That's, again, just as Hollywood bullshit. I wouldn't expect Henry to come back, and I wouldn't if I were him. He has been screwed over by Warner Brothers enough. This development follows director Patty Jenkins sharing her thoughts Tuesday in light of Hollywood Reporter's report that the studio would not be moving forward with her plan for Wonder Woman 3 after she submitted a treatment. Jenkins wrote on Instagram that she did not walk away from the project, but explained, "It was my understanding that there was nothing I could do to move anything forward at this time." And I'm guessing that's the same answer they gave Henry. There's part of me that believes that James Gunn knew this was going to cause an outcry on the internet, and he revels in that a bit. And quite frankly, I think that makes him the wrong guy to make a Superman movie. Hopefully, I'm wrong. Please prove me wrong. But when we eventually do get this film in 2025 or 2026, we'll see if superhero movies are still a thing. And that would mean his 10-year plan ends in 2035 or 2036. There's a lot of time between now and then. And how many Superman movies have been announced and shit-canned just in the last 3 years? Thank God Jar Jar Abrams isn't making one. So time will tell. But DC fans' patience is running out. It's not this infinite well of optimism. Having been a retailer for 10 years in the comic book industry, I am intimately aware that DC fans, again, are very different from Marvel fans. And as a lifelong Marvel fan, I would argue they are far more passionate. So I would take the time to understand that because they have reached their limit. This is your last chance. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening this long. I'll see you in the next video.
Nerdrotic.com